That's your difference right there. That's flat out insane. So we've got to get this stuff out. We've got to get this stuff on. Come along for the journey. We'll show you how we're gonna get it done. I'm gonna start by letting this drain plug go. It ain't gonna get much fluid out because it's way up here and not down here. Another good thing about the PPE pan. All right, so we're gonna start taking the drain pan off. You're gonna need an 8 of the smaller ones, and all your studs are gonna be 13. There's one 8 that's behind the cooler here. Kind of a turd to get to. Just heads up. Yeah, I'm gonna work on getting a wobble in there. All right, so now we're just left to our 13 studs, and we go over the fill procedure here in a little bit. You'll understand why we recommend bringing it in versus trying to do it at home. But again, if you're mechanically inclined, you can handle it, by all means. Got our buddy system in place. Go ahead and get the rest of these bolts out as fast as humanly possible so we don't burn ourselves. All right, that's all right. All right. All right, so that's the key, is to slide it back just a little bit and then come down on the front. Deal here. Overall, pretty dang clean. We'll let that finish draining off a little bit, and then we're gonna do a service. Swap the filter, and we'll go back in with a brand new PPE pan, get all this lovely junk cleaned up. All right, so we're gonna get the filter off. We got 2H right here. I can see. Maybe more to hold it, but we'll find out. Get those here in a minute. There we go. Filter's out, just with those 2 long 8mm. That's what a 10R valve body looks like, ladies and gentlemen. So what we'll do, we'll get the new filter put back up in there, and we'll get the PPE pan installed. All right, so we got our new filter here, Motorcraft filter. One important tip, guys, make sure you get this off or out of there and get it on the new one. It's a little grommet. Okay, so we're gonna get that shoved back up in here, nice and tight like. All right, new filter's installed. Let's go ahead and get our trans pan up here. So this pan is built for the 10R140. Got extra cooling fins on here, extra capacity, a drain plug. Thank you, PPE, for doing that, because getting rid of that Ford pan right there sucks. But again, this is gonna be our fill port, guys. Make everything nice and easy there. But this should help keep our transmission 15, 20 degrees cooler. Add a couple extra quarts as well. Hopefully keep this thing down on temperature so our fluid doesn't look like it did, which was really nasty, really terrible. Comes with a really nice gasket. Okay, and then it's also O-ring grooved. They supply you with this gasket if you want to use this gasket, which is, to me, looks like a really good quality gasket. Or if your O-ring gasket is in good use, which this one is, we can also install this O-ring gasket. I'm a pretty big fan of O-ring gaskets. They tend to seal a little bit better if you ask me. Either one, again, if you got 100,000+ miles on it, your O-ring gasket's screwed up, this gasket will work perfectly fine. But it's cut out either way, grooved, or you can run flat. So we're gonna steal this one off of here, run the O-ring gasket, and get this thing put back up in there. All right, so we got the O-ring gasket back on, ready to go, so get the pan back on it. All right, got all our bolts set up, so time to get the pan on, which I'll get a friend. Robert, you wanna be a friend today? Perfect. So with the help of friend, buddy, coworker, some guy you don't like, who cares? Okay, so we kind of skipped a step. You gotta remove the cooler bracket there. So before you put your pan back on, if you can get it off. All right, I think that should be enough. All right, so after you get the transmission cooler loose, we'll retry this. Got her? Yeah. All right, as long as you can get 2 or 3 bolts started, that's all you really need. Okay, so, thanks. All right, so we got all our bolts in. Get them torqued down. Per PPE's instructions, they tell you 108 inch-pounds, so I'm gonna use this just to walk them up. All right, now we're gonna go back, torque them down, 108 inch-pounds. We are doing this. I do recommend, if you're about 500 miles, you go back and check them, because these are notorious for coming loose sometimes, even if you do torque them properly. Just something we've seen before, something's happened, so make sure you just double check them. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and install the thermal bypass valve. Sorry, I had to read that off the label here. Basically, we're just gonna allow coolant to flow without some valve opening and closing. It'll have coolant 24/7 to it and keep it cool. So it's a quick side note, what I like to do, these PPE bypass deals, they come loose out of the box, right? So don't just go throw this thing up in there expecting it to seal, because you will have leaks everywhere. So I like to tighten them up before I put them up there and swap hoses, so we know for sure that we won't have any leaks. These pliers here, pinch off pliers, and they just work off pressure pretty much. But that way we don't lose a whole bunch of coolant. We just pinch them off there and up here. So now what that'll allow us to do is we can get this thing, get these clamps off of here without coolant just rushing down on us. Let's hope we don't get a bunch of coolant everywhere. We got the, oh, nope. Apparently the pinch off pliers didn't work very well. All right, so after a small coolant mess, we got our hoses back on. We get our bolts put back in here. All right. bolts back in, plugs back in. So that completes that install. And it's time to get transmission fluid put back in this thing. So now what we're doing is filling up our, what we call our 10-speed filler. But basically it's a pump. What we do is we pump the fluid in from the bottom of the pan, and then we've got a special process to check it. So if you don't have one of these on a 10-speed, man, they're not fun to try and fill up. Highly recommend at least having one of these. And we put about 6 quarts in, pump in, and then just redo the process till we're completely full. Close the valve off, and then it's just like spraying your weeds, except transmission. So we'll get her pumped up, and let her fly. I usually just keep pressure going because it'll take all 6 of these quarts that we have in here right now. I've got had 10 quarts in it now. I'm going on 13. Right at 10 quarts, we fired the truck up. The specs says a little bit different on a factory pan, but because we have a deep pan, we put a little bit more in it. So now what we're gonna do is get to the point where the fluid starts coming out of here. So each time we do it, we'll unscrew this, see if fluid's coming out, not put more in. Once we get it to that point, we get good fluid, we'll put the plug back in it. We'll get the truck completely up to operating temperature, recheck it. As long as we have some fluid coming out of there, we know we're good. And then we will put the plug in, call her done. So they're not fun to fill, guys. They're kind of a pain in the butt. I wish I just would have went back to the dipstick style, but this is how it is. So check it now. We got another 3 quarts in it. We're running out pretty good. Now what we'll do is we'll get her up to operating temperature, which I can feel it. It's getting up there already. All right, guys, so we just checked the fluid one more time, made sure we were good, had some coming out. So that concludes on how to not only install a gorgeous PPE pan and the bypass valve, but how to service your 10R140. So if you don't feel comfortable doing that in your driveway or wherever you're at, give us a call. We'd be glad to help you. So that'll do it. We'll get back to you on how the trans temperatures look and whether we cooled down or not.